Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan Reess. I'm sitting here with Zach McCarley, and he's one of the only pro strongmen for what division? Weight division?
I'm the only lightweight in Washington.
Only lightweight in Washington. He's a Tahoma graduate, same high school I went to. He's 23 years old. He's a big stud. We're going to go ahead and talk about his how he got into strongman, and then his training approach and what he likes to do here at Imperial and outside. He does some crazy stuff outside, so pushing cars up hills and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Zach.
What's up?
So Zach, how'd you get into pro strongman? To be a pro strongman, sorry.
To be a pro strongman.
What was the travel, or the path traveled to get to this point?
Well, when I was younger, I saw my stepdad lifting weights a lot, and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool, getting stronger, being big, that whole thing. So I was like, okay, I want to do that when I'm older. So I started lifting weights in middle school, started doing sports, met guys like Tony Davis and Chris Feist at Tahoma High School, got me into football and wrestling, and took off with that. And right about the time I finished high school, I'd been watching strongman and all that, and I was like, I could do that, I kept putting it off, and one day I finally said, I can do that, I'm just going to stop talking, I'm going to do it. So I contacted somebody, and it happened to be Grant Higa, who, if anybody's watching your videos, I'm sure they know who that is.
Yeah.
And he got me into a contest, my first contest. I got my butt whooped, but I came back for more. I'm sick like that. And a couple of years later, won my second national championship, and it got me a pro card. So
cool. Now, so what's your training approach? I mean, you for your size, I mean, you do some stuff that's probably a little unorthodox as far as what strongmen do. But I mean, it's been a blast sitting here watching you train. The last 4 months, and challenging each other, and I'm always down for competition. What's your training approach? What's your methodology of how you approach your training?
Like you said, I have a really interesting approach. It's a pretty athletic approach. I don't like to stay in one spot and just lift weights. That's what I'm weak at, and that's what I put a lot of effort into, bringing up. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, I'm actually training, kind of a pace. I'm training my pace and how many of something I'm able to do in a minute or 2 minutes or something like that. I guess it's some people refer to it as like a VO2 max. I train to get the most out of a minute, because that's the way that strongman really is.
Now, do you think any of that has to do with the fact that you're a competitive wrestler, and that's just kind of how you're mentally brought up?
I think that shaped me a lot. I wouldn't be the same person if it weren't for wrestling.
Yeah.
I would not be the same person. I'd probably be a little bit more static, and I wouldn't know how to train as hard.
Yeah.
I would not know how to train as hard. If I could give one piece of advice to anybody, it's, get into a wrestling room and, spend a year or two in there and bust your butt, and you're never going to be the same.
Yeah, one of my mentors, Zach Evanish, always refers to wrestlers as just the tough-minded, nitty-gritty. They're going to train harder than everybody else, and they'll run through a wall if you tell them. So, as far as things you do, let's talk about your loaded conditioning, if you will, or what you do as far as carrying stuff. Kind of explain maybe one of the workouts you would do as far as carrying heavy objects.
Carrying a heavy object, like a sandbag, farmer's yoke?
Anything, yeah, I mean.
I'll go with farmers, because a lot of people know what that is. Farmers, I'll start working up to heavier weights, probably 100-foot runs, mm-hmm. and then maybe 200-foot runs, and then I will hit a weight. If I'm trying to stress my grip, I'll hit a weight for probably 400, 600 feet. And not a lot of guys do that, but I think that works your grip a lot harder than just an 80-foot run with a really heavy weight. If I'm trying to train for a specific contest like I am right now, I'll actually go heavier. So most of the year, you won't find me going any heavier than 250.
So you just go moderate weight and just for longer duration.
Yeah.
I like it. What about sandbag training or kegs, or as an athlete? Let's just say as an athlete, you say you got a weak kid. What would you recommend him doing as far as maybe strongman training or odd object training? what would you start them off with? All right, we're back. Sorry, full camera, so we unloaded some time here. I think we left off at what we do for a young athlete. We want to do some odd object training.
I'd probably find out where they're weak, what their end goal is. Like my specific end goal is to be the best in the world in the lightweight category for strongman. You know, I have no doubt I can do it. It's just when am I going to do it, and how fast do I want to get there, and you know the semantics of the situation. So I train my weaknesses and bring them up. I don't have to be the best at something, but I need to be the top 3 in everything. So I would find what that specific athlete had a weakness for, and I would bring that weakness up.
So I mean, was that basically if a young kid wanted to be like you would basically say attack your weaknesses at all times and always bring up your weaknesses and stick to the basics and be an athlete, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, a lot of powerlifters, I've gotten a little bit of ridicule for things that I do. Like over the summer, I was running a mile every 2 days just to see where I was. My best mile ever was a 5:40, and over the summer I got it down to a 6:10. So that was pretty decent. I weighed 230.
Yeah.
You know, I know I can break a 10-minute mile and a half, which is, you know, I consider that okay. Cool. But, you know, push yourself in all aspects, even outside your sport. I mean, no one's limiting yourself except you. No one tells you what you can or cannot do, you know. So there's no reason you can't be great at everything. Awesome.
We're going to wrap it up there. We'll probably have more later on. Zach's leaving for college here. It's his last day at Imperial until probably the holidays. Okay. So we'll do another one when he comes back around Christmas or Thanksgiving. Cool. Thanks, Zach.
Take care.